Lovely to see
The
you all
first
here.
training course on business linkage in vocational education has just ended in Ho Chi Minh City. The course is organized by the Oz for Skill, contracted as the Vietnam-Australia Human Resource Development Partnership, the Australian Industry Standards, and the Vietnamese Chamber of Commerce and Industry. This course focuses on logistics and 17 trainees from vocational training institutions, logistics companies, and VCCI representatives in Ho Chi Minh City.
A very big part of our development assistance program to Vietnam is all about Oz. It's called Oz for Skills. So Australia is working with Vietnam to develop the skills that will be needed to make Vietnam economically successful in the years to come, to be able to enter global markets and to trade regionally. And logistics we chose as one of the first sectors, because if logistics don't happen, Vietnam's goods don't go out to the region and Vietnam doesn't trade as well. So we think this is a key area, as does Prime Minister Phuc. He has said that many times for Vietnam, logistics is a key for Vietnam to get their goods out to the world.
During the 10-day course, trainees visited logistic enterprises Nguyễn Hữu Cảnh Technical College. There, the trainees have a better view of the quality of the vocational training as well as the skills that the market demands for the work of a logistic employee. The course also highlights the important role of the industry in the training process. Throughout the course, the Australian Industry Standards also supports VCCI to develop a standard for the logistic industry in line with the current socio-economic context of Vietnam. Greetings from Trang Vietnam on VTC10 Net Việt. In today's show, let's talk about the model of connecting the industry with vocational training institutions in Vietnam and what benefits it can bring to the Vietnamese students. And the guest speaker in our program today is Mr. Ledge from Australian International Standards. So thank you for joining us. Can you share more with us about this training course for the Vietnamese students?
This first session has very much been about developing the foundation for the concept of an industry-led reference committee. We've taken students through the Australian experience, and the Australian experience is largely a product of many years of trial and error and lessons learnt. What we're offering our Vietnamese colleagues is the chance to learn from the Australian experience. We're not suggesting the Australian model is perfect. What we're suggesting is Vietnam has the opportunity to learn from the Australian experience and not repeat the same mistakes we've made. So that's one of the values. We are trying to develop an understanding of what industry intelligence means, what the methodologies and mechanisms for getting data from industry to help inform appropriate course development design. We're taking them through the development of occupational standards and occupational skill standards, which is the design phase of developing job roles for priority new sectors in the Vietnamese economy around transport and logistics. And we're also taking them through validation, how to validate occupational standards and how to validate training course content in training colleges to ensure that that content is meeting the needs of industry, producing fit for purpose human capital that can be productive when they move into the working environment in transport and logistics.
In this training course, you have been interacting and working with a lot of Vietnamese students. So what can you say about them?
Well, they've been very enthusiastic participants, provided very interesting views on the challenges that they face in meeting the demands of industry for skills development. I think clearly there's some opportunities to work with them, improve the processes around connecting industry to the vocational education sector in Vietnam. As I say, they've been enthusiastic participants. I've been very pleased with the contributions they've made to the discussions we've had. And clearly they're thinking about these issues and concerned about these issues. And our job really is to develop strategies to assist them in meeting a more tailored approach to vocational education and skills development for the new emerging economy of Vietnam.
In your opinion, what are the benefits that the model of connecting the industry with the vocational training schools can bring to the Vietnamese students?
Well, I think the one thing about this model is it attempts to bring a spectrum of industry views into a common platform. So whether you're a small business, a large business, an international business, a domestic business, the platform of Industry Reference Committee provides a mechanism to incorporate those views. We're not seeking to develop this model exclusively for international business models or for large business corporations. This is a model that will work across the spectrum of business sizes. The needs of small to medium enterprises are not vastly different from the needs of large enterprises. The skill development needs of small to medium enterprises are the same as the needs of large enterprises. This model provides a mechanism for the needs of all the spectrum of industry types to be represented. So that's the value of the platform that we're developing. Well, what it'll do, ideally, is bring a much clearer focus to the types of skills demand that industry have and expect from the vocational education sector. At the moment, in Vietnam, I think similarly in Australia, we have somewhat of a disconnect between what is being produced in terms of human capital from the vocational education sector and what the needs of industry are. So this model is an attempt to bring those two parties closer together, to assist industry in articulating the skills development needs they expect from the education sector, and to give some guidance to vocational education trainers, course developers on the type of skills development, the type of not only technical skills but the type of soft skills, communication skills, time management skills, problem solving skills that are needed for the modern worker, for the modern workforce of the new emerging economy of Vietnam.
Nguyen Hữu Cảnh Technical Economics School is one of the schools that put logistics into training. Starting in 2017, the school targeted 30 students each year. To meet the needs of the market, the school has actively associated with 7 large logistics enterprises in Ho Chi Minh City.
Ngành này rất là ngành mới, chưa thu hút được nhiều học sinh. Do đó là cũng nhờ công tác truyền thông, đào tạo, tuyển sinh, định hướng nghề nghiệp chính xác để để phát triển cái ngành này cung cấp cho thị trường lao động. Và chúng tôi là cũng có mối quan hệ các doanh nghiệp như là Tân Cảng nè, Logistics nè, Toàn Cầu nè, Gia Phú nè, vân vân, để giúp các em sát với thực tế, học và xong ra các công ty để mà thực hành với thực tế, để sát với thực tế. Nhưng mà hiện nay có một cái khó khăn là độ tuổi các em còn quá nhỏ, với lĩnh vực này quá mới, do đó đối với người học người ta cũng còn phân vân nhiều. Do đó là chúng tôi cũng làm công tác là định hướng nghề nghiệp cho các em để các em biết được rằng là đây là một trong những thị trường hot đang cần rất nhiều nhân công.
Đặc điểm của từng cái doanh nghiệp nó có những cái sự khác biệt, chứ không phải là doanh nghiệp nào cũng cần những cái yếu tố kỹ năng đó. Cho nên là chúng tôi cũng đánh giá rất là cao. Thì cái mức độ hiện nay thì theo như trường chúng tôi thì là được các doanh nghiệp đánh giá khoảng 7-80% các kỹ năng mà các em đáp ứng được. Thì khi mà các em vào thì doanh nghiệp vẫn phải mất khoảng thời gian 3 ngày đến 1 tuần để có thể là hỗ trợ thêm một số các kỹ năng cơ bản, hoặc là một số các kỹ năng mà đặc thù cho cái ngành hoặc cái vị trí với cái quy mô của cái công ty như vậy.
It is effective when the enterprises jointly work with the training schools. Logistics is a new training sector. Vocational training institutions have been concentrating on developing this major. In particular, it is important to connect and work closely with the business to ensure that graduates can meet the needs of the enterprises without training again. On the business side, they are also willing to participate in the training process. Most of the Vietnamese enterprises are the small and medium-sized enterprises. So with these particular characteristics, what are the challenges for the implementation of this model?
Well, I think one of the big challenges is getting everyone to the table, getting everyone to participate and invest in the model, getting the right representation of industry. As I said, having a balance between small to medium enterprise, large enterprise, domestic enterprise, international enterprise, and representing geographical variations. Vietnam's a big country, from the north to the south, a lot of variation, linguistic variation, business practice variation. So we need to ensure that that's incorporated. We need to ensure that there's a platform for meaningful dialogue between the education sector and industry. That's the biggest challenge, getting a meaningful platform for dialogue. At the moment, many of the vocational education providers are seeking to develop their own relationships with industry, and that's a good thing, but can also be a risk in terms of ensuring that the spectrum of views is incorporated. So we're offering lessons learned on a universal platform, a logistics industry reference committee. We're trying to assist our Vietnamese colleagues to develop the first model for Vietnam. So we've got that experience to offer, and we are hopeful that our Vietnamese colleagues, including the VCCI, who are important partners in this, can see the benefits of a common platform for skills development, which incorporates, as I say, that spectrum of industry views and links vocational education providers to the needs of industry.
As for the vocational training schools, what role do they play and how active should they be in this cooperation?
Well, they need to be partners to the model. We need their views. We need to understand their needs. We need to hear what their own shortcomings are. We've spent the last 8 days talking to people connected to the vocational education sector in Vietnam. We've heard some very strong views about what they see as the challenges they face in connecting with industry in a meaningful way. Connecting with industry to get informed content into their training curriculum. So we can see that that is not dissimilar to the challenges we've had in Australia of bringing education providers into a partnership with industry. But we're taking the first steps in that in the Vietnamese context. These are the first steps in what will be a longer journey. So we have to be patient about how that model will work and how it will mature, but we're keen to nurture it. We're keen to assist technically where we can, and we're keen, as I say, to offer the lessons learnt from the Australian experience.
Can you share with us about the future plan of your organization in working with other partners in Vietnam and especially VCCI in duplicating this model throughout Vietnam?
10 more months. We will, over that time, deliver a number of training packages around the key components of an industry-led reference committee, a logistics industry-led reference committee. So we'll build that componentry. We'll support the capacity of the VCCI to serve as a management secretariat to the Industry Reference Committee. This is another important element of the program, building the capacity of VCCI to lead the work of the LIRC, to lead the research arm, to undertake the industry intelligence work that's needed to inform the development of skills, identify the right job roles, develop them into occupational standards, and from that extrapolate occupational skill standards, and support a robust validation system.
Once again, thank you for joining us and for your meaningful sharings today, and we hope the project will get better and better result in the future. And that's all we have for this episode of Strength Vietnam today. For comment and feedback, don't hesitate to write to us at strengthvietnam@netvietv.net. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.